Hello everybody, my name is Sheila or SL Reads, and today I'm going to be doing the makeup book tag. I, as you can tell, like books, and also like makeup. I recently got a new palette for Christmas, and so I've been experimenting a bit with my eyes, which is why they've been like perpetually orange in like every picture or video I have taken recently. I saw this tag on Ariel Bassette's channel a few weeks ago, and since I'm home with all of my books as well as a bag full of makeups, and so I just thought I should do it because it looks fun and why not? So we're just gonna get right into it. I'm going to show you an article of makeup as well as a book. The first makeup item is primer. Pick a book that left a lasting impression on you. And so for this I choose the NYX Glitter Primer. I use this like every day. Like I always have shimmery stuff on my eyelids and I use this. The reason I got this was because I did my own makeup for prom and I needed to stick pink loose glitter to my eyelids, and this really works. I got the NYX glitter that went with it, but I really like this and I use it to put shimmer on my eyes, and when I have loose glitter, really anything. This is pretty much the only primer that I use. And for the book I chose, The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This book left a lasting impression on me. I think it was because this was a book that I found via the internet. Like I had seen it on Tumblr. This was something that was kind of out of my comfort zone. It's not a YA book, and I was pretty much reading only YA at the time I picked this up, and now I'm still reading mostly YA. I'm kind of branching out. It's something that's really stuck with me for a number of reasons. I really love this story. It is an adult novel and it is just very interesting, and it's filled with intrigue and murder and alcoholism. It involves classics majors, and my roommate is a classics major, and so I told her I didn't trust her because of this. I was like, somebody's gonna end up dead, and that's not gonna be my fault, it's gonna be yours because you're the classics major. This is just something that is like always in the back of my mind. Like sometimes I see like an edit or some sort of fan content on Tumblr for this, and I'm like, oh, I remember The Secret History, it's amazing. I feel like it has the caliber of a classic, but it is definitely a more recent book. It takes place in the 90s, I think. I don't actually know when it came out. Number 2 is Foundation, which is favorite first book in a series. For the makeup, I choose, I kind of cut this in half. I don't really use foundation, I use BB cream. Either way, it is way too dark for my skin because I'm very pasty. Like right now, this is not the color of my face. This is definitely something on top of that. But I cut this in half so I could get all the product out of it, but this is the BB cream that I use. It is the Dream BB Pure by Maybelline. For this I chose Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I love Six of Crows. I love this duology. This is one of the things that got me really into duologies as like a format of series, and I love it so much. If you don't know what this is, it is set within Leigh Bardugo's Grisha universe. Her first series was the Grisha trilogy. Didn't really like that one. This one came later and I did read this first, and so maybe that's why, because this was so fantastic. It's beautifully written, it has such rich characters, and they're just such an array of characters. They're not all Grisha, despite being in this Grisha verse. They're all members of this gang called the Dregs, and they're tasked with pulling off an impossible heist. They have to break into some place that historically is impossible to break into, break out of, everything. I love the characters, I love the relationships, I love Leigh Bardugo's writing style, I just love how this looks. Like, do you see this? It is such a great start to a series, and if you're looking for a great duology and you haven't picked up Six of Crows yet, I highly, highly recommend it. This is another one of the things that I don't see a lot on Tumblr, but when I do, I just like dive straight in. I'm like, oh, Six of Crows, my love, I forgot about you for a second there, but oh, it's so good. Number 3 is concealer. Pick some characters you wish didn't exist. I don't read a lot of books where I think about how much I hate the characters a lot, but there is one, and I'm going to talk about it in a second. First I will show you my concealer though, and that is the Mary Kay concealer. It is the very light shade probably because, as I mentioned, I'm pasty as hell. Looks like this. Probably am running out of it. Probably need to get more of this too. I'm really bad at like keeping up with my makeup game and like making sure that I have all the stuff. Usually I'm just like, how much of this can I use before it's completely dead? If you think I have some great beauty routine with like, oh, everything looks so beautiful on my desk, it is always a mess. I can never find everything that I need, and it's just a disaster. The character that I wish didn't exist is Amory Blaine from This Side of Paradise by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This character is based off of F. Scott Fitzgerald, makes me hate F. Scott Fitzgerald, never want to read anything he wrote ever again. The Great Gatsby was good. This was shit. I hated this so much. He's such an irritating character, and it's supposed to be a semi-autobiographical novel, and so that means that that is what F. Scott Fitzgerald was like. I talked about this in my least favorite books of 2017, so if you want to hear more about this, then you can go check that out. Definitely one of my least favorite books, and I would definitely just punch Amory if I ever saw him on the streets. Number 4 is powder. I use Mary Kay powder in Ivory 2. This is also really dying. I'm not going to open it up, but it's like broken, and there's just bits everywhere. It's a disaster. This is pick your favorite last book in a series. I had some trouble with this. I don't know why, until I remembered a great series that I read a few years ago, and so the book that I picked for this is King's Rising by C.S. Pacat. This is a political masterpiece. It does have LGBT rep, the main character is bisexual, and the other main-ish character, also kind of love interest, is gay. Within the other main character society, there's definitely a lot of acceptance and kind of like They want you to be in same-sex relationships so that nobody gets pregnant. That is not why I picked this though. This is a great finale. This is the third book in the Captive Prince trilogy, which involves a prince named Daemon, whose father is killed. He is supposed to be king, but he is kind of overthrown before ever becoming king and sent to be a slave for the prince of the enemy kingdom named Laurent, who hates Daemon. Fun fact, Daemon killed Laurent's older brother, so there's always been that kind of like yikes moment. Laurent has not recognized Daemon, doesn't realize who he is, and they still manages to hate him anyways. This is definitely a good ending to their relationship and to the story in general. It has just as many terrible moments where you realize things about the characters' pasts and how cruel people have been to them in their lives, and just what it is like to be the heir to a kingdom. Really, if I ever think about politics in like a kingdom setting, I would so think about this. Laurent is the character who literally eviscerates people with his words. Like, he's amazing. I love him as a character. Daemon's an idiot. Parts of this really hurt in your heart to read them. It is ultimately triumphant. It's such a great ending. I do not see people talking about this enough. So the next prompt is eyebrows. And so the prompt for this is pick a book you think everyone should read. The eyebrow pencil that I use is by Mary Kay. My mom sells Mary Kay, which is why I have so much Mary Kay stuff. They're great products, so I really enjoy it. It is just an eyebrow pencil. It looks like this. I kind of lost my pencil sharpener, and so I had to borrow one from someone because these brows do not work when there is a very, very dull tip. This was very easy for me because I picked my favorite book series that I have a phone case for, and that is The Foxhole by Nora Sakavic. Many of you might not know that I really like the mafia and the mob, and I love learning about it, and I think it's so fascinating, and this book involves that with sports. Somehow. And that's a really weird concept. For some reason, I thought this book was about baseball before I read it, and I don't know how, because you don't even play baseball on a court. And also, some of the other books have like the sticks. They look like lacrosse sticks, but they're Exy sticks because that's the sport in the book. I talked about the series in a few of my videos. It is definitely not talked about enough on BookTube. One day I'm probably going to do a full review of it and just like talk about it in every single video. I just wanted to explain why I think everybody should read it. I read it at a point in time where I really needed support, and these characters gave it to me. They made me feel confident in myself, and they made me feel like I was okay, because all the characters in this book are going through their own battles, and they're still fighting through them, and they're still surviving and going above and beyond and ending up with lives that they never thought they would have. And I have read it every single year since. The first one is free on Amazon, and the other two are both really cheap. That is very important to me. I love finding people who have read them. Not a lot of people that I know off of the internet have read them, and if I had to pick a book series that feels like home to me, it would be this one. I talked about it in my Finally Fall book tag that if I had to pick a found family to hang out with, I would hang out with the Foxes who are from this book, and I would do it 1,000 times over. They are amazing, and I just love this book so much. Number 6 is eyeshadow. So, something I just recently got for Christmas, which I mentioned at the beginning of this video, is the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is beautiful, and I love all the colors. I think they're so beautiful. I just really enjoy this palette. I've been trying to experiment with makeup. It has mostly worked out for me. It did not work like a few days, but we're just gonna pretend those didn't happen. So the eyeshadow prompt is pick a book with your favorite color on it. My favorite color is red, and there was a point in time where I read like a string of books that all had the color red on the cover, and I didn't like any of them, and it was really sad because I love red! I'm pretty sure the first of these was Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I read this book because I saw he was at BookCon when I was at BookCon. Didn't actually meet him or anything, but like I saw his name and everyone was like, he's so dreamy. He's okay. His book, not good. It's like the Hunger Games, but set on Mars, and the fact that they were on Mars was not like a big enough part of the book, which didn't make any sense. If I was on Mars, I'd just be screaming the whole time about how I was on Mars. Like, I'm on a colony on Mars. What the hell? The farther away I get from it, it's not that I've forgotten the things I don't like about it, but it just kind of like, it's one of those books where I want to finish the series to see like if it gets better or like why it has all this hype. Like maybe the first book was just bad and it gets better after this. I don't really know, but I'm probably not going to because I have like a strong will at the moment and I cannot get past the fact that I hate the main character in this. And so I'm probably not going to finish this series because Darrow is so irritating. Like yes, he went through some shit, but I've gone through shit too and I would not be this irritating, I hope. So number 7 is eyeliner. I use the e.l.f. liquid eyeliner in jet black. I have used this for years. A lot of people comment on my eyeliner, and so if you're wondering what I use, it's gonna always be this. Like, I pretty much don't use anything else because I'm most comfortable with this, and I feel like if you find a product that works for you, then you should just go for it and just stay with it. This is really cheap. It's only like $2. When people ask me to do their makeup, they usually have me use their eyeliner, and I'm really most comfortable with this. I'm really most comfortable doing it on my own face, and so if I've ever done your eyeliner and it hasn't turned out well, I'm sorry. Maybe you should just invest in some e.l.f. and use it on yourself. And that rhymed, and I'm just gonna move on. The prompt for this is choose a dark and mysterious read, and so I picked Macbeth by William Shakespeare. This is my favorite Shakespeare play. I'm going to be reading it in my Shakespeare course this semester, and It's so great. It is definitely dark because there is lots of murder and it's in Scotland in like some century. There is the element of mystery because you don't really know like what's going on. There are just these murderers and people are just getting killed. There are some ghosts and people who kill other people and sometimes themselves. I've read this twice already and so I have a lot of notes on it, like lots of annotations and everything, and so I've definitely gotten a lot of like background information. That is something that I recommend if you're reading Shakespeare. Try and read it with someone who actually knows what they're talking about. You can just like point at something in Shakespeare and be like, this symbolizes sex. Maybe that person's gonna be like, guess what? This time, it doesn't. Shocking, I know. Number 8 is mascara, and so I use 2 mascaras usually. I really like this mascara, which is by Mary Kay, and it is the Lash Intensity Mascara. The other one that I use is a waterproof mascara, and that is the Lash Love Waterproof Mascara by Mary Kay. And so the prompt for this is pick a long book. The book that I choose is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This is very deceptive because it looks small, right? No, it's not. It is the mass market paperback edition, so that means that it's like really, really short. There's 1,252 pages in this book. That is pretty long. I'm glad that I have like the smaller edition because I'm terrified of what the bigger edition would look like. Like, I have Outlander, which is a pretty big book, and I know Game of Thrones books are like that big, but I think this is bigger somehow. This book is like the size of my hand this way, and then still the size of like most of my hand this way. Like, that's too much. I really don't know that much about this book. One of my friends got it for me for my birthday because she loves this book and wanted someone to talk to about it, and I'm sorry that I haven't read it yet. I'm really hoping to read this in 2018. Hopefully I'll have time to read 1,200 pages at some point because I really think it's going to be worth it. I've seen people talking about this before and I haven't gotten that far into like adult fantasy and just fantasy outside of the YA genre. I've heard that this is really good. I think it'd be a good place for me to start. Number 10 is highlighter. I use NYX Away We Glow highlighter in the color Liquid Prism. It is like this. It has like this kind of like brush thing, and you just like put some on your cheeks and like put some there if you want. You can put some on your nose or like your cupid's bow. It definitely gives you a very nice glow, and so I like that. That's kind of why I bought it. I don't know if this would work on all skin tones because I am so pale. Like, really, like, I don't think you understand. Like, I'm like the color of snow. It's ridiculous. And so this works on my face because it's pretty much the same color as my face, just like shiny. And the prompt for this is pick a book that brightens your day. For that, I would pick Nancy Drew by Caroline Keene. This is the first one, The Secret of the Old Clock, but I just love Nancy Drew in general. I have a bunch at school that I haven't read, and I have a bunch here that I have read, and so I just feel like this is such an easy read for me, and it's always something that I look forward to. I'm always reading it and being like, Nancy, you dumb bitch, but I love her. She's so great. This is something that I've actively started reading in the past few years, and so I didn't really read it as a kid, and so I'm kind of, I think, the age that Nancy is, and so it's definitely cool to see that, to be like, wow, this is what my life could have been like if I was alive during the 40s? Whenever this takes place? I don't know. Nancy is good at everything, and so it's just nice to see that, like, she always gets, like, kidnapped and held hostage and almost killed, but somehow survives, so that brightens my day. The final thing on this list is lipstick. I don't wear lipstick, oh god. I don't really like how it looks on my lips. I'm just not really comfortable in it. But when I do, I usually wear one of the NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams. This is not usually the one that I wear, but I can't find the one that I usually wear. So I guess I don't usually wear it anymore because it's missing. The color of this is Copenhagen, and I do like this one. It looks a lot darker than it actually goes on. It goes on as more of like a pink than a purpley shade. I probably spend more time looking for them than I do applying them or wearing them, so that's just what my life is like. And the prompt for this is your favorite book kiss. I kind of struggle with this. I couldn't think of a book that had like a great kiss scene in it for some reason. And then I remembered The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. I think there's a few kiss scenes in this book. I should remember this. It's in my favorites video. My favorite kiss in this book would be the first kiss between Monty and Percy. It is kind of like what like starts their relationship going towards an actual relationship and not just like, we're just gonna pretend that we don't like each other because it's the 1700s and people are homophobic and I'm gonna get killed if I love you. But like, they just go for it. They're kind of like swimming through like romantic and sexual tension for like most of the book. Like every time they're like alone and like Monty's like, oh, I'd kiss him if I could. That kind of thing. It starts with a very entertaining poem that I will read to you. Percy's like making up a poem on the fly about Monty. I've just now thought that maybe he had this in his mind already, or at least part of it, because I cannot come up with a poem on the spot. One time I had to like compose a sonnet on the spot, and it was, shall I compare thee to a summer's day, thou art hot as fuck, and that was the end of it. So, I mean, maybe Percy just has more skills than I do. So it goes, there was a young fellow I knew, named Henry Montague. He drinks lots of liquor and never gets sicker, and he's 4 inches longer than you. So that's the first one. Apparently there's multiple poems. The second one is, Monty often smells of piss. The Lockhart may doubt him, there's something about him that everyone just wants to kiss. And there's like Like, he doesn't even finish the poem. Like, he just, like, pauses. He's like, shit, I know where this is going. Shit, it's the 1700s. Oh my god. Oh my god. And Monty's like, hey, what were you saying? And he's like, I'm not telling you. And then he finishes it. So, like, right after that, there's, like, the whole, like, they, like, look at each other's mouths, and then they kiss, and then Monty's like, it wasn't just me kissing Percy, it was Percy kissing me too. And it's kind of like a dangerous kiss. Like, it has, like, that sense of, like, oh yikes, somebody could come in and see us doing this. This moment is where you see Monty being a complete idiot. Like, if you didn't already get it by this point in the story, that he's a complete idiot, you get it at this point. Trying to play, like, calm and cool and collected and be like, oh, I don't really care about this. He ends up, like, pushing Percy away. They ignore it for, like, a big part of the book after this, just because of this. I was like, Monty, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? If I had to pick another kiss scene from this book, I would definitely pick Felicity's kiss scene because it's hilarious. I'm not gonna spoil who she kisses. So that is the end of the makeup book tag. I hope you enjoyed it. It was pretty fun to film, even though I had to go on like a wild goose chase trying to find my lipstick because I had no idea where it was. I forgot that was a prompt. Like, I had the book ready, like sitting with all my other books, and it was like, lipstick. When was the last time I wore lipstick? I hope you enjoyed this video. So if you like this video, please like it. If you want to see more, I'll be putting out a video every week. Then please feel free to subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!